Thank you, APRM. Another round of applause. I now call upon Honorable Thandi Moraka, Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, representing the host government.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Pan-African Parliament, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Chief Fortune Charumbira, members of the Bureau of the Pan-African Parliament who are present here today, our guest of honor, Her Excellency, Lady Justice Imani Diobut, the Judge President of the African Court. Madam, we honor you. Dr. Beryl Bakeman, Board Chairperson for African Union Diaspora 6th Region High Commission Council, the daughter of the soil who came here and addressed us donned in our African outfit. Thank you very much for coming. His Excellency Ambassador Marie Antoinette Rose, the CEO of the African Peer Review Mechanism, who has just given us a very energetic address to this Pan-African Parliament. Honorable Remy Ngoyi Lumbu, the chairperson of the Banjul Commission, who also addressed this Parliament virtually. Her Excellency Harman Jarar, the Ambassador of Palestine. Madam, we thank you very much for your energetic address also on behalf of the people of Palestine. Distinguished members of this august House, members of the diplomatic corps, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Honorable President, it is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to welcome all of you on behalf of our host government, the Republic of South Africa, to this important opening of the 4th statutory sitting of the permanent committees of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament. Honorable President and members who are meeting here today amidst the current unfolding geopolitical tensions that are taking place here in the continent and also globally. And I want to reiterate our call for the peaceful resolution of conflicts through dialogue and mediation, because that, Honorable President, has been the backdrop of our own foreign policy as the Republic of South Africa. Honorable President, the sitting also is convened at a historic moment marked by the recent appointment of African Union Commission senior leadership. We also need to take this opportunity to congratulate and acknowledge on behalf of the host government of South Africa to the Pan-African Parliament, the new senior leadership of the African Union following the successful election which were held during the 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of States of Government at the AU on the 15th of February 2025. The elections of the newly appointed chairperson of AU, His Excellency Mohammed Ali Yusuf, and the deputy chairperson of AU, Her Excellency Selma Haddadi, shows Africa's commitment to the values espoused in the Constitutive Act of the African Union. Can we congratulate them through a round of applause? Similarly, Honorable President and members, I wish to also acknowledge and congratulate the newly appointed African Union commissioners who were elected during the recently concluded 46th ordinary session of the Executive Council that was recently held in Addis Ababa, wherein we have seen the humbling support of your esteemed countries, wherein you ensured that South Africa got the position of the Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy. And for that, Chairperson, we are truly honored as the government of South Africa. Mr. President, you will know that our continent is plagued by a myriad of challenges, including threats to democratic governance, issues of peace and security, and the issues of inter- and intrastate conflicts, wherein we continue to see issues of food insecurity and energy insecurity that is affecting mainly the poor and the poorest of our people. We are also continuously experiencing issues of inadequate infrastructure in the continent of Africa, but we continue to say that Africa is endowed with mineral resources. And I think it's high time as the people of the continent of Africa, we ought to sober up and make it a point that that endowment of resources that we have in the continent really benefit the people of the African continent. I'm also pleased to hear that PAP will be tabling a motion here in this sitting wherein you are going to rally behind the South African government amidst the current threats that are emerging from the White House, wherein the president of the US is threatening to impose sanctions on us as the people of South Africa. And really, it is pleasing to hear that PAP is willing to say, not one of our own, not in our name. We will defend what is best for the African people. Really, it is pleasing to hear that kind of a support coming from all of you. It is indeed our hope that the new leadership of the AU Commission, as it was recently elected, will bring to its effect of being in the office the energy to the organization of AU Commission, the fresh ideas, and also an invigorated resolve to respond to the challenges that we desperately need to address as the people of the continent of Africa, including the process of achieving and championing the Agenda 2063, the Africa that we want. Moreover, in this critical period of the second 10-year of the implementation of that Agenda 2063. Indeed, Honorable President and members, African problems really needs African solutions. And it's high time we need to move beyond just mere words and move towards actioning what we have been calling for. Mr. President, the African Union theme for 2025 that is titled Justice for Africans and People of African Descent Through Reparations, close quote, is really timely and welcomed by the 7th administration of the Government of Africa, and it also helps us to define and chart the way forward, even for the Pan-African Parliament. And we want to call upon Pan-African Parliament to make it a point that that particular theme is being realized by all of us, because we have been victims of slave trade, we have been victims of colonialism, we have been victims of racial discrimination as the people of the continent of Africa. So we can't shy away from addressing issues of reparatory justice. Honorable President, I wish to make it clear here that the time to comment on numerous initiatives on reparatory justice that has to be undertaken by the Organization of African Unity and the AU respectively, spanning from the first Pan-African Conference on Reparatory Justice that was held in Abuja, Nigeria in 1993, ought to be delivered by all of us, irrespective of where we're coming from. Because it is in that conference where there was a resolution on the issue of racial discrimination and also a resolution on xenophobia and other related intolerant issues that continues to befall our continent of Africa. President, we are pleased as the government of South Africa that under your leadership, the Pan-African Parliament will contribute to a concrete proposals towards the advancement of the reparatory agenda for Africans and the people of African descent, which will be occasioned by the transatlantic slave trade and also slavery and apartheid and colonialism and neoliberal tendencies that were bestowed on us by the superpower house that used to operate during those times. Mr. President, the Executive Council and the Assembly has adopted several critical decisions which will see the work of the Pan-African Parliament elevated in this regard. And let me applaud the House and in particular your sterling commitment and the leadership alongside the Bureau to ensure that critical issues affecting the Pan-African Parliament are raised at the Executive Council. Your consistency, Mr. President, in engaging the Permanent Representative Committee, which is your PRC, has ensured that a progressive decision is adopted by the Executive Council. Can we give them a round of applause? Mr. President and members, one of the decisions of the Assembly has been a request for member states to implement the theme of the year in their respective countries, and also to make available adequate resources for the implementation of the theme of the year at the national level. It is indeed in this respect that South Africa will also be playing its meaningful role in terms of the implementation of the theme and also sharing of its experiences, including partnership with the 6th region in the continent of the Africa and also in the context of the reparation theme that we have all adopted. For this part, Mr. President, South Africa has fully committed to this endeavor, and our foreign policy, as led by our own President, His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, is grounded on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the further wish to advance South Africa's relations and also multilateralism together with the African Union Commission. Mr. President, in a landmark decision, the recently held Assembly of Heads of States and Governments that has adopted the African Union Convention on ending violence against women and girls as an instrument which aims to address the scourge of femicide on our continent and also engage men and boys in preventing this kind of violence from taking place. This is a positive step towards a process wherein we are going to ensure that everyone who lives in our continent is safe and secure. In this respect, Mr. President, we look forward to the long outstanding matter of the hosting of the Women's Conference by the Pan-African Parliament during this year, 2025. Finally, Mr. President, we ought to share with you the momentous occasion of South Africa's presidency of the G20 under the theme Solidarity, Equality, and Sustainability. Mr. President, the G20 presidency of South Africa presents an opportunity to work in a collaborative manner and also work closely with the African Union in the priority areas that we have all set for ourselves, which are directly aligned to those of the AU's priorities. And we want to urge you that all of you, as the people of Africa, consider yourselves as the presidents of the G20. It is our own collective effort. With these few words, Mr. President, let me wish you and the entire Bureau of the Pan-African Parliament and honorable members a very best and successful deliberations and debates in the coming few days. And I want to welcome you to our beautiful land of South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Yes. Yes. Yeah. An interlude, a musical interlude. We are moving to the musical interlude now. We are moving the music to the interlude, musical interlude.